In this video, I will be loosely explaining the Naruto Ninja Council series. It will probably be a shorter video compared to the Ultimate Ninja series, but with that said, I will be loosely going over the story and the gameplay of these games. If you have a game series you want to see loosely explained, please feel free to comment down below. With all that out the way, let's dive right in. Naruto Ninja Council. The story mode in this game very loosely covers the prologue from the Land of Waves arc to the Chunin Exams arc. Players also get to have a chance to fight Orochimaru. The playable characters are Naruto and Sasuke, with the possibility to unlock Kakashi. There is also an unlockable hard mode which takes place at night and replaces the Orochimaru, Zabuza, and Haku fights with Gaara, Temari, and Kankuro fights. The story again loosely covers the first main couple arcs, but it also follows its own storyline somewhat. At the end of the game, Naruto beats Orochimaru and he swears he'll return. The third Hokage and Kakashi then appear, with the third Hokage telling Naruto job well done, and Kakashi telling Naruto that he has passed the test. For Sasuke, after beating Orochimaru, Orochimaru tells Sasuke that he's enjoyed observing his strength and that his power is truly desirable. He then says they'll meet again. Kakashi then appears with the third Hokage and tells Sasuke that he's passed the test with flying colors. As for Kakashi, when he beats Orochimaru, he says the village will be on full alert and he can't escape. Orochimaru then tells Kakashi that that'll do them no good, and he says that they'll meet again. The third Hokage then appears and tells Kakashi well done, and that he can take the rest of the day off, but that they'll need to keep an eye on the village. Now, as for the gameplay, there are scrolls that the playable character can obtain to perform abilities at the cost of chakra, which can be used to break down walls or create whirlwinds. Some characters can trigger special cutscenes when using a special ability on the right opponent. Using Naruto's sexy jutsu on Abizu will knock him out, similar to how it did in chapter 2 and in the second episode. Using it on Iruka Sensei when finding him and Hiruzen after beating Orochimaru will cause them to have a unique dialogue. Failing to use Naruto's shadow clone technique when going against Kiba will cause him to fart, similar to how it did in the Chunin Exams. The fart stuns Kiba, then Naruto uses the Uzumaki Barrage, knocking out Kiba. Using Kakashi's summoning technique on Zabuza will trigger a special cutscene. Kakashi will then use Lightning Cutter, which knocks out Zabuza. For a Game Boy Advance game, this game's backgrounds and visuals are actually really good. The character sprites in the game are also nicely put together. Overall, this side-scrolling beat-em-up is actually really fun and better looking than some other Game Boy Advance games. But with all that said, that wraps up the first game, so now let's dive into the second one. Naruto Ninja Council 2. This game loosely follows the Chunin Exams arc up to the Naruto vs Gaara fight, but with minor differences such as repeated fights against Dozu, Zaku, Kabuto, and Orochimaru, as well as a storyline that did not appear in the main anime or manga series. In this game, you play as Naruto, Sakura, Sasuke, and Rock Lee, with him being the unlockable character this time. You go through the Chunin Exam fights, and then you make your way towards Kabuto and initiate a fight with him. You continue on your mission, but you end up lured into a trap by Orochimaru for him to see Sasuke's progression. Kakashi and the third Hokage both realize that Orochimaru is after Sasuke. The Chunin Exam resumes, with Naruto fighting Neji and Sasuke fighting Gaara. Orochimaru then appears and threatens to use a jutsu called Hidden Leaf Destruction on the Leaf Village. You then fight off a wave of Sound Ninja. After that, you fight Orochimaru, and towards the end of this battle with Orochimaru, he uses his reanimation jutsu to bring back the first and second Hokage to help him in his battle against you. After beating Orochimaru, he tells Sasuke that he's living up to his potential. Kakashi then tells the player that they need to go after Gaara and stop him. While chasing after Gaara, you come across Kankuro and begin to fight. After defeating him, you make your way towards Gaara. Once you find Gaara, you two begin to fight. After beating Gaara down the first time, Gaara then summons Shikaku. The second phase of this boss battle then begins, with you fighting off waves of enemies, making your way to the top of the beast. Once there, the final phase begins. You beat Shikaku by hitting the weak point in his head. After this, the game fades to black with white text saying, "The shadows of fire cast upon the village, and the leaves begin to sprout." End quote. And that's really it for the story. Now, as for the gameplay, it features a 2-player co-op mode using the link cable and a 4-player battle mode. The first game had voice clips carried over from the cast of Clash of Ninja, whereas this game does not. This is also the only game in the Ninja Council series to not have voice clips. The sprites in this game, while not only different from Ninja Council, would become mainstays for the series. Like the first game, there are some secrets you can activate within battles. For example, if the player is in the level where they look for Gaara, and if Sakura, Sasuke, and Lee, if unlocked, are all defeated, continue normal as Naruto. Then, after beating Gaara in his sand shell, the player can play a Gamabunta vs Shikaku minigame. The game also features a drawing mode where you can draw on the Hokage rock and you can later unlock more pictures to doodle on. Well, that about wraps up this game. Overall, it's still a good game, but the lack of voice clips and some of the other changes were definitely a mistake in my opinion, especially for a sequel. If this had been the first game, I would have totally understood not having any voice clips, but considering the first game did have voice clips and this game don't, seems like they were trying to compensate for something. For what? I'm not really sure. But again, it's still a good game. With that said, on to the next one. Naruto Ninja Council 2 European version. Getting the order of this series was pretty ridiculous, mainly because of this. This is essentially the third game in the series. This game's story loosely follows the Sasuke recovery arc, minus the Naruto vs Sasuke battle. The Sound 4 is also present in the game, but Kimimaru is only featured in a mid-mission mini-game. This game does not show the Naruto vs Sasuke battle, it instead adds a final battle with Orochimaru. After Orochimaru is defeated, Kabuto appears and escapes with Orochimaru. Sasuke is then shown betraying Naruto and the Hidden Leaf Village at the end of the game. As far as the story goes, I couldn't really find much else. If you know anything else about the story, please feel free to comment down below. With that said, let's get into the gameplay. This game features action side-scrolling gameplay with touchscreen functionality. Neji is now a playable character. The music has changed and improved, as well as the controls. For example, running is now done by holding B. You can run up and down walls again, but this time at the cost of chakra. To use any of your jutsus, you hold LB and then you spin the chakra wheel on the bottom screen. Your jutsu changes depending on how well you charge your chakra. The drawing mode is back, with the stylus being your brush. Levels have gotten better graphics and backgrounds look better as well, but the actual level designs are poorly thought out as far as platformers go. Well, that's about all I can really find on this game. Again, if you know more, please feel free to comment down below. Alrighty, on to the next one. Well, this is gonna be really quick. Naruto Ninja Council 3. There's no story in this game, and instead it's just missions. With some, for example, being defeat this opponent or break X amount of boxes around the map. As for the gameplay, Naruto Ninja Council 3 has similar gameplay to the last two games in the series. The missions take place on a small map. The touchscreen serves as both a map and a place to perform different techniques. Animals and ninja are your typical opponents in the game. On certain missions, you'll have to fight bosses, which are usually the antagonists from the series. During some missions, you'll have to defeat your opponent under various conditions. For example, having your health cut in half and winning, protecting an ally, using a certain move to KO, and so on and so forth. And that wraps up this game. I don't know exactly what they were trying to achieve with this game. It's far different than the rest, considering it has no story. I guess they were just trying to put something out while they actually work on the new mainline story game, but I don't know if that's the reason or if there's a reason at all. But anyway, on to the next game. Naruto Shippuden Ninja Council 4. The story starts off with you playing as Gaara. You make your way through the desert and you come across Deidara. The player fights Deidara until they explode the bird he's riding on. Afterwards, Deidara successfully takes down Gaara and takes him into the Akatsuki. From there, the game loosely covers the events of the Kazekage rescue mission arc. A lot of the story is small bits of dialogue, and half of it isn't even important to the story. Like Tamari taking down a caterpillar that Deidara sent to distract them, or Itachi having someone use a transformation jutsu to look like him so that way he can distract the rescue team. Towards the end of the game, you come across Deidara again, but this time with Kakashi, and he uses his Mangekyo Sharingan to get Deidara off of his bird, and then the battle begins. After defeating Deidara, he says he's failed in capturing the nine-tailed beast and disappears. The final battle is with Sasori, and the only dialogue in the beginning of this fight is between the player and Granny Chiyo. After beating him, he says that he never expected you to beat the third Kazekage. He then says he has no choice but to play his final hand and reveals his true puppet self, and the battle begins. After beating him the second time, he decides to tell you a secret before he's unable to move. He tells you to go to the Bridge of Heaven and Earth in the Hidden Grass Village 10 days from now at noon. He states that one of his spies has infiltrated Orochimaru's inner circle. His final words are, "I'm supposed to meet up with him there at the time I told you." He then falls over, and the game cuts to black. Now, as for the gameplay, the artwork is obviously new and improved since we're in the Shippuden era. There's also a wireless multiplayer mode where you can play up to 17 characters, with Kasame and Sasori being just 2 of them. You can earn currency that can upgrade your characters and their abilities. Every character except Rock Lee has a special environment ability as well. For an example, Neji can use his ability to show you where items are on the bottom screen where the map is, whereas Sakura can use her ability to break certain walls to reach a shortcut or an area where an item is at. This is definitely the right step they needed to take to improve this franchise, and out of the ones I've covered so far, this is definitely the best one in the series. It has the great feeling with better controls as Ninja Council 1 and highly improved graphics. There's definitely some issues, but that's with every game. Anyways, on to the final game. Naruto Shippuden Naruto vs Sasuke, or Naruto Shippuden Ninja Council 5. This game's story loosely follows the events of the Tenchi Bridge reconnaissance mission. The game starts off with Naruto and Sakura looking for a new team member, where they encounter Sai and begin to fight. Afterwards, he escapes. You then catch up with him and you fight again. After this, Yamato appears and explains to them that he'll be filling in for Kakashi and that Sai is on the team. The player then starts their journey to the bridge. At the bridge, Yamato uses a disguise to look like Sasori to meet up with the spy, who is Kabuto. Kabuto tells Yamato where Orochimaru's hideout is and says that Sasuke is there as well. Orochimaru then shows up and exchanges a bit of dialogue before Kabuto strikes Yamato, breaking the transformation jutsu. After a few bits of dialogue, the player then fights Kabuto. After that, the game then shows Naruto's training with Yamato and the telling of Sai's true mission. And later, at Orochimaru's hideout, Sai confesses to Naruto and the rest of them that he's failed his mission the moment they found him there. The player then fights Kabuto and Sai. The final bit of the game takes place against Sasuke. With the team finding him, they explain to Sasuke that he's still part of Team Kakashi and that they're bringing him back to the Hidden Leaf Village. Sasuke refuses and initiates a fight with Naruto. The player then fights Sasuke, where afterwards he uses Chidori Stream to stun everyone but Sakura. They all get back up and begin the chase after Sasuke. They catch up with Sasuke, and Sasuke then explains that he'll never go back to the Hidden Leaf Village and that he will gladly let Orochimaru take over his body if that means he can take down Itachi. The fight then begins between the player and Sasuke, where afterwards Orochimaru and Kabuto appear and take Sasuke with them. The credits then roll. And lastly, let's get into the gameplay. It incorporates several tag team specials. The character sprites are also smaller, allowing for more action on the screen. Most of the special moves no longer use the touchscreen to activate. There are still some certain techniques you use the touchscreen for though. The online play has been removed, but there is a high score mode in replace of it. There are also side missions which can be completed to unlock more characters. The controls are even better than the last game, with them being much more responsive. Wall running is gone, but there's really no need for it with the way the map layouts are. If you were to ask me which game to get in this series for story and gameplay, I would tell you this is the game for you. It's fun, runs smooth, responsive, and for the most part, it stays true to the anime. Well, that about wraps up this series. If you have any game series that you want to see me dive into, please comment down below. With that being said, I'll see y'all in the next one.